That's the CT scan and everything else on there.
629.
But she's doing all that. Antibiotics. Okay. No.
Prost. Is this?
Yes.
Good evening, councillors and other committee members. This planning meeting. Item 1. Apologies received.
No apologies, Mr. Chairman.
Item 2. Declaration of interest. Receive any declarations of traditional opinion interest from members of respective business to be transacted on this agenda. Item 3, minutes of the planning committee. To approve the minutes of the planning committee on Monday the 4th of March 2024, and if you see any matters arising from those minutes not covered elsewhere on this agenda.
Yes, I have an item on this. I watched this very carefully on the video links, and this relates to item 23/01351, which is Discovery Park. This is clearly a problematic site. The design, I would agree, is fairly stark, and it is treeless, and there's not a section 106. However, is it possible that strategic aspects of this site have been overlooked? It's the only brownfield site in Sandwich. Now, if you don't build on brownfield, you're going to start ripping up agricultural land, be it Archers Low, be it beside Sandwich Tech School, and so on. And I'm just wondering whether this enthusiasm to move away from this site is strategically not the best things to do. If you're not going to do this, and it's also the only substantial North Ward site. So if you're not going to build in the North Ward, you're going to build on the South Ward. And I think the South Ward has had more than enough building on it in the past couple of years. I also think that a whole number of things that are on these minutes refer just as these other sites. I mean, if you look at the Woodminster Road in Kumar, they're as far away from the town as this one is. Kumar has no public transport, and it's as far to the bus stops as this site is. They're on floodplains, and the other thing is that there's no section 106 from either of those two. And by the way, this site is very close to facilities. It's got the petrol station, it's got food outlets, and it's got a retail outlet. I just wonder whether, strategically.
This was all passed about 24 years ago.
I agree, but in the discussion.
It's not the only brownfield site, but the power station. You've also got Pepper Willow Bank that's been developed. So it's not the only.
Well, then I thank you for that.
I'm sorry, just to reply to Councillor Black. I didn't know if you know, Councillor Black, the site's actually been granted outline planning.
I do know that now, but this was not a discussion. With respect, this was not a discussion that you had at the meeting. Now, I understand that it's outline planning has been there for a long time, and the discussion perhaps might have been better focused on some other aspects. But I'm merely responding to what's in the minutes and what I saw on the video.
They were just asking our Dover District Council asking our opinion on the design and layout of the site. So, yeah,
we did reject it.
so it was designed, but it's got outline planning, so I mean, it's going to go ahead anyway.
Forward. Councillor Morehouse has requested to.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm just making sure that you need to approve the minutes.
I'd like to propose that the minutes were accepted by this committee.
Chair, sorry. Could I just refer to 03/24/12, the verbal update from Councillor Morehouse. Under the discussion about the lines, we did ask that the relevant director of BBC be invited to this meeting to talk about the actions that's been taken on that property. Could that request be made?
Yes, I can pick that up after this meeting, yeah.
Okay, so all in favour?
But may I ask that my comments be noted, please?
Yes.
Yes, I've noted that in the minutes for you.
Thank you.
Can I just ask, has planning permission been given with this proposed development?
Yeah, 500 pounds.
Because we objected to it at the last meeting.
Well, basically, the design of the property.
I mean, another, since the meeting, I've been told by a Sandwich resident who worked for Pfizer's, the toxic chemicals were buried on that site.
No, I don't think it has. It's a bit further up the road. That standpoint, that's just been a field up there. Never been developed at all. It's an agricultural field.
Okay, so, sorry, the mayor proposed,
Yeah.
was somebody second?
I'll second.
Oh, that's it, thank you.
All in favour then? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you can do them before then.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That was just the only point I wanted to make.
Okay, thank you. Item 4, public participation. I don't know.
No request.
No. Okay, before we go on to number 5, we have a request from Captain Morehouse, if we can go further on to last one, so he does his report. What's happening with that?
Yeah, I propose that we bring that forward.
Okay, all in favour of that? Sorry. Okay, I think, yeah. Okay, Captain Morehouse.
Right, first thing in relation to planning application 24, I believe 00068, 6 St Peter Street, Sandwich, Kent. I'm informed that the planning, that application will be taken to the planning committee either May or June. Secondly, regarding Fellowship Walk, it's disappointing that the terrace fencing is to remain in situ. And that has been granted permissible by right, so the terrace fencing is being permitted to remain in sight because it has the benefit of being permission under the Town and Country Planning General Committee Development Order 2015. In relation to 90, there was a planning application brought here some time ago, late 2022, if my memory serves me correctly. The land adjacent to 95 St George's Road, and the proposal to build a 4-bedroom detached house neighbouring that, which would have intruded on ancient woodland. I attended the planning committee meeting on the 14th of March and spoke in favour of the objection to that, and that application was rejected. And then relating to flats in St Bart's Road, where a elderly resident was discharged from hospital, not completely wheelchair bound, but mobility seriously impeded, and those flats are not disabled friendly. And there is work ongoing at the moment to make those flats disabled friendly in terms of ramps to the rear, although they will not facilitate building a ramp on the front of the property. They're making the rear access more accessible to disabled residents. And they are going to look at the entrance halls to those properties, which at the moment look quite honestly more like prisons than they do homes. And finally, regarding 57 New Street, one would hope that the mayor has invited the strategic director of BBC, Roger Walton. Is that correct, Mr. Mayor?
That's correct.
Has he confirmed attendance?
I'll have to ask town clerk.
Oh, we're talking about the annual town meeting?
Yes.
Yes, he has.
Right. Because I have a question to ask him as to why he has yet to answer the email that I sent him in late December. And additionally, I believe that if the portfolio holder for planning and built environment isn't attending the meeting on next Wednesday, that we ask the leader of BBC to insist that Mr. Walton and Councillor Hicks attend the planning meeting to discuss this issue. I think it's time to up the ante a little bit. It's been sitting there for more than 35 years at least, and it's just not good enough. I drove past there yesterday. The owner, I believe it was the owner, was out there inspecting his daffodils. If he believes that that's remedial work to the house, he should be very much mistaken.
Yeah, I'm taking the business, thank you.
Well, that's it.
Sorry, is Councillor Brown here on the official business? Oh, no, sorry, I just wanted to make sure if he had anything to raise as well.
Item 5, planning applications. Application plans and papers can be viewed via the Deputy Council website. A. Planning application reference number 24/00213. Proposed partly roofing and front and side kitchens. Location 89 Stransford Sandwich, CT 39 10.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I believe that I'd like to strongly support this grade 2 listed property, and this work needs to be done from the photographs and the diagrams that were online. It's essential works to keep this property in good repair, and with it being grade 2 listed, I think these are essential and they should be carried out. So I propose that we strongly support this application.
Yeah, I agree with that. This is a former pub and the roof is in a very bad state and it does need urgently to be looked at.
Okay. We're all in favour of strongly support this. Okay. B. Planning application reference number 23/01314. Proposed erection of single-storey solid rear extension. Location schoolhouse nursery, school road number CT 13 Well, I preferred actually the first design, the 2-storey one, but then that got turned down, didn't it? The single one. I didn't like the single one because of the flat roof. I didn't know. Because I can't have a flat roof. They did get recommended in town now to come back with a pitched roof. So I'm all in favour of this because we can keep in with the conservation area to have a pitched roof. So,
Yeah, the gentleman in question has been very informative towards the council. Sounds Town Council has let us know from the outset what he's done. He's been to a lot of meetings, spoke publicly as well, and also spoke to residents. He has the first one wasn't in keeping, so he's had it changed to keep it in keeping with the town, the conservation area. So I will second the proposal for the sections.
Oh, yeah, sorry, so I was gonna support what councillor Marie said, actually, that's very good, because the gentleman that bought the property has gone out his way to adapt the plans, and when it had a flat roof, and he said it couldn't have a flat roof, he said, all right, I'll put a pitch roof on, and he has said on numerous occasions it is to be a family property, and you can see it's laid out, the extension is for a family thing, and I find it very difficult. There were quite a large number of objections, but they were for loss of light. And when I went and had a look at it before the Easter weekend, it was so far away from the other properties, and there's quite a large boundary wall to the property, so I couldn't really understand the loss of light or views or anything like that. So, which is quite good. And we said that it couldn't have a balcony. And no flat roof, no impact on privacy. So Sandwich Town Council's conditions that we put on, I believe Councillor Wiles or somebody had said about a construction management plan was important, and obscuring any skylights. He's actually delivered all that. So the developer has given all that. So I would concur with what Councillor Marie said as well.
Yes, thank you. I'd just like to support the comments that have been made. I think it's important to get this building looking great. As has been said, the owner has been quite attentive to our concerns. So I think we should support the proposal. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm equivocal about this. I think I agree with the chair. The previous design, albeit with a flat roof, was preferable. I think when you look at this proposal, the footprint of the extension is larger than the existing ground floor footprint. It's a very dominant, massive building that's being proposed, and with the pitch roof, I think there is an argument that it will impact upon neighbouring properties. So I'm inclined to vote against it.
Okay, we've got a proposal, we've got a second one. We're in favour of this third design.
And that's support.
Support.
Yeah.
Support. I think we've got one again.
And against, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Item C, planning application, reference number 24/00176, proposal overhaul of existing Kent Head tile to include replacement tile and insertion of underlay, removal of render to front elevation, cleaning of exposed brickwork and reformation. Location 7 Street, Sandwich, City 13, 932.
Yeah, well, this is the essential repairs to the property in King Street that we all know about. And and these are essential repairs. I don't know, some of us in this room, I attended a meeting with the builder, and the builder said that the roof was basically shot away, and it's letting in water in 3 different areas. And of course, the front of the property has got unknown fractures to, it could be just fractures to the rendering, but it could be fractures to the brickwork, which could indicate subsidence. So it's important to get these works done, get them done as soon as possible, so we can support the traders. So I'd like to propose that these works go ahead as soon as possible and strongly support this application.
Yeah, it's emergency works, it's needed, otherwise the house will collapse. There's been speculation as well regarding the underfloor water underneath the house of subsidence, and also of a sinkhole being created. I'm not sure what the truth in that is or not. Scaremongering, I'm not sure, but this is important that this is done, because we need King Street open as soon as we can, because the traders are losing a lot of money over this, and it's very concerning for some of the traders. So I'll second Councillor Cole. Yeah.
And I think DDC Conservation Officer is very involved in this, so I think that's another sort of safety net really, that everything's being done properly from what I can read into.
All in favour of this? proposal.
Yeah, I think that makes us, thank you.
Item D, planning application reference number 24/00193, proposal display of an illuminated hanging sign, location 6 New Street, Sam, CT30, 9A3. Takes you back to the old medieval days, it's part of the character, isn't it? You know, people couldn't read and write, but they went by the signs.
I strongly support this. The premises are being renovated and they're under new management. The sign writer was there this week doing, hand signage, and so this would be a welcome complement to that. So I strongly support it.
I'd like to second that. I just wanted to say, first of all, it's very tasteful. The sign, they've gone through a lot of trouble over the sign. The symbols on the sign all have meanings, and the colours they've chosen are all subdued colours. It's non-illuminated, so we can accept that as well. As the chair said, it's a traditional sign, isn't it? And with all due respects, two of the other properties either side of it have both got hanging signs as well. So you couldn't really reject it in this case. So I'd like to second the proposal that you signed ahead.
Sorry,
No,
I'd
there's
like
no
to-
favour of this application? Planning application, reference number 24/00171, proposal overhaul of roof patterns, including replacing temporary tiles, insertion of underlay, removal of render to front and extending the exposed location pointing to 7 King Street. I think what happens is one's a planning application, one's a conservation.
That's right, yeah, I think this is just a conservation on the chair, so I'd strongly like to support this as well.
Yeah, second.
You all in favour of that? Yeah. It's funny how they do the two, you think they have a little thing to say one with the conservation. Okay. F, planning application, reference number 24/00241, proposal replacement of timber double gate, location Black Horse House, 89 Strand, Sound, CT39. Get the age away now.
Oh yeah, well this ties in with the other work that's done on the property, and it was quite nice that they put the before and after photographs on there, and the gates are a vast improvement. I noted one of our local residents had actually written in and proposed that it is a big improvement. So if that resident has said that it would be a great improvement, then I'd like to support what she said. So I'd like to strongly propose the
same size as the present gate, but it's just at the new one.
It is, yeah, much better.
Everyone's happy with that? You proposed it, I'll second that then. Yeah, all in favour of that one? G, planning application reference number 24/00258, proposed variation of conditions to approved plans 3 method statement, 5 ecological design and management strategy, 6 construction environmental management plan, and 11 SUD or sub the planning permission 20/00705, the installation of electrical battery storage facility, including the installation of UKP connection area and equipment, ground raise and landscape and associated work to allow amendments to what is located with energy company, we know sell power station.
Oh yeah, and this one is up by the multi-fuel burner. So this is going to assist with any surplus, obviously any surplus energy that they produce from the fuel burner that's up there. So it's going to be an ecological plant. Also noted from the 17 documents online that they've put in all the ones like fire strategy, drainage plan, energy park plan, and an ecological plan. So it's quite far from the town, so I don't think there'd be any issues with anything being unsightly or even dangerous.
People still asking what we've got there, aren't they?
Yeah, so this will support what's already there.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, it will not only feed the grid, but it will also feed the expansion of Discovery Park, which we should be supporting, really, shouldn't we?
I'm not clear with this, what connection this has to the additional facility that's been proposed with the links to marshes. Are the two connected? They're not
Not
connected.
at all. Just to say, the mix of marshes is where the cable's coming in from further up in Suffolk or somewhere. This is battery storage, so the energy that the multi-fuel burners producing there would be stored and then fed back onto the grid. So.
And partially it's in Thanet.
Yeah, so I think that by the town station. Yeah.
Yes, it's by the power station.
Yeah.
The Discovery Park, obviously,
Right
is
on our boundary, isn't it?
about 2 miles away.
Yeah.
So it's not a Discovery Park thing.
No, it's a power station.
Yes, it's a power station. Where the batteries come in and what they're doing, I presume they're connected to the solar arrays.
Oh, it's
Because one of the things with the battery storage is the solar collects it through the sun, it's obviously stored in the battery. And then rather than the subs element is being able to release energy when the power station, when the grid needs it, rather than constantly. With the solar arrays, it obviously just goes straight in, whether you need it or not. With the battery storage, they can get an awful lot more money versus releasing it when the grid needs it. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So ecologically, it's just things.
Yeah.
Well, we've got photos of that.
Oh, yeah, so.
No second. All in favour of this? Councillor Mark, yeah. Item 6, withdrawn planning applications. Receive a note of withdrawal of planning applications.
No.
7, planning decisions. Receive a note, latest decision of Dover District Council on new planning applications.
I mean, if members want me to read them all, I don't know if you've had an opportunity to read them yourselves.
Proposal.
Second.
Yeah, so they're received, yeah.
They're received. Item 8, street furniture applications. Receive and consider any application made to DDC related to street furniture. This applicant under local government act miscellaneous to 1982. Licensing. Consider any licensing notice and issues received from Dover District Council. Please note none to consider payment the general issue. 10. Enforcement. To consider any enforcement notices and issues received from Dover District Council. Please note none to consider payment to general. Item 11. Correspondence. To receive and consider correspondence related to planning matters, including notification of appeals against refusal of planning application. Members to consider latest update the DDC in relation to the land south of Whitefriars Meadow and to debate if there is any further action to follow up required. This is required. No.
Okay, so the mayor actually asked for this item, but I have got literally from the DDC officer. So this was the latest email, was the 22nd of March. It was addressed to Councillor Suker and the DDC councillors as well, and myself. And this was from an officer at DDC, and planning enforcement were copied in. To clarify, there's no formal habitat ecology assessment to hand. However, due to the regeneration of the land from its previously cleared state, including its proximity to the nearby waterway, the council's ecology officer is of the view that it is highly likely that land now includes protected species habitat. You will note paragraph 79 of the recent inspector's decision also referred to the likelihood of this being the case. Unfortunately, there are no powers to require a landowner to carry out formal surveys in cases such as this, and accordingly have to rely on the views of the council's specialist advisor, in which case we cannot pursue this case further. So that was the update from the BBC officer that had been dealing with the situation. And I think the mayor was just keen to ask members if there was, yeah. So I think that's all.
Thank you very much for that, Town Clerk. Yeah, so really, I just wanted to bring this to this committee. So the two items that we'd asked district manager about, one was the fencing and one was about tidying up the land. And they've come back and said that unfortunately the fencing comes under what's it, proposed development and sorry, and obviously because of the wildlife habitat, there's no ability to ask the landlord to tidy up the land. So I wanted to bring this to the committee just to sort of try and see if we could find a way forward, perhaps proposing that we speak to the landowner again, to looking for a way of doing something with this land to make sure that the landowner, is able to work with the council and the council can work with the landowner so that this land could actually be put to some good use. And it's no good just waiting for another planning application to come up. I was hoping that the planning committee might be able to agree something whereby we could take something to full council at the end of the month. So I'm quite happy to meet, or a couple of us or a group of us to meet with the landowner and discuss what can be done, because we don't want a stalemate. It's not good for the town and it's not good for the landowner. So I'll open it up for discussion.
Just we need to realise that the gentleman in question decimated that area before the Harris fencing went up, just to put in for an application which we all knew was going to be rejected anyway. It's good to hear that there may possibly be wildlife back in that area, which is a good thing. However, we're not going to know that, because I don't think the landowner's going to say, "Oh, we'll get someone to go in there and have a look." That's not him. I've always said my personal opinion is always been, and I said it at the elections like last year, would be for Samstown Council to look into a CPO for that area. However, if an offer was given to the gentleman, he would ask 10, 20 times more than the original value price regarding if we've got evaluations done in that area. I do think that a group of us needs to get together who have been in here from the onset, and also include Councillor Fender, who's been very verbal regarding this and also helps a lot of the residents in Whitefriars Meadow, to possibly look into either a CPO, so either STC buy the land and turn it into what my idea would be a forest school for the local schools and stuff like that. That's my opinion. I don't know what anybody else would think, but I would quite happily sit with a couple of councillors that have been here from the onset that have been with this to look into what can be done, because it can't stay like that. Because if I had Harris fencing put around my property, the BBC council would go mental at me and I'd have it taken down with an instant. It's quite surprising that BBC have actually allowed that Harris fencing that looks awful to be allowed in a conservation area such as that. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's ironic that the habitat was destroyed. I think it was 1st of September 2020.
Yeah.
From memory. And it had been a long established wildlife habitat. It was mentioned then of foxes and all kinds of wildlife being on that site. I agree with Councillor Marie. It was devastated and now we can't touch it 4 years later. So I agree. I think we do need to speak to the landowner as a first step, just to see what his position is, because it's very, very unlikely he'll ever get planning permission for that site. So we do need to do something about it. But I think it's yet another example of lack of action on behalf of planning officers at DDC, and that's why I think we need to get them on here to try and understand their thinking on properties like this, like the Lines and other cases in Sandwich, where we just feel frustrated by their lack of urgency.
My only concern is that comments like some of those made by Councillor Marie and Councillor Sampson previously have antagonised this man. And if we want to get a working relationship with him, there's no point in being rude about him when he's not even here to defend himself. So I've got my own views, but nevertheless, we're either going to work with him or we're going to fight him, and maybe we can find a balance. Even if we're going to fight him, maybe we can do it politely.
Can I just respond? Can I just respond to that?
Hang on. I don't think it's being rude. I just, the way he handled the fence and other things. The thing is, the mayor has already spoken to him. He's very happy, he's already had meetings. And he's quite happy.
Can I just respond to that, sorry, Chair? Just quickly, I understand where Mr. Hines is coming from. However, this has been a long-running thing for over 10 years. This gentleman has owned the land and has been quite abrupt, disruptive towards Specialist Council and also BBC when plan applications have been in. He knows how many he's put in there, 4 or 5 applications he's put in, and that every single one has been rejected purely because of the area of the land. And the gentleman has been as much as a disruption online and comments regard, as well as I have. Yes, I have said a few things, I get that, so as others. However, the gentleman doesn't listen. As I said, the mayor's been to see him a few times, and the gentleman is, as I said before, if we give a price of what the land would be required, he will go 10 times over for the land, for the price of the land, which the council, one, can't afford it, and I don't think anybody can afford it, to be honest.
Hang on, there was 2 trees up there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
One of them was a common anchor for the Queen.
Yes. Yeah.
Planted by the Rotary.
Yeah.
And that's about 20-year-old. And that's the thing.
Yes, thank you. I don't have the historical memory or knowledge of this battle that others do. However, it does seem to me that we have some cards to play. We have some pressure points, if you like, to exercise. It does seem to me also that we should, in discussion, have some idea of how we would like to see the site develop. I think this is a more general thing about having a vision for Sandwich, yeah. but we can all have our own ideas of what might be done with that site. Some of them might give some advantage to the landowner, might provide some possibilities, and I think that's probably the way to head, is prepare ourselves for a difficult discussion, but one in which we do hold some cards.
The other thing is that the gentleman in question disregards the law of the land. He's crossed BBC land to get to the property, which he wasn't given permission to do. Hence why the old planters are now down the back end of Fellowship Walk to stop the diggers and stuff coming through.
It was a lovely little horse paddock before he went in there, because he had to do archaeological digs. So he did archaeological digging, but he took his tractors and diggers in there without permission from the town. And then they dug the trenches out, and then for about 10 years there's all this open water there. And then he went in again without permission to backfill it all, cut what we know the mess is now. It was years ago, it was a beautiful little backfill.
I don't have a problem with councillors talking about what's happened, like where the law has been broken. But I do think in a public meeting that's being filmed, it mustn't get personal.
Oh yes, so I just wanted to say what I would like to do, what I'd like to propose is or what I hope to get out of this was something positive. So what I'm proposing is that I contact the landowner, so I've got his contact details, but I need this to be put forward to full council. So it's a proposal that I contact the landowner, see if he's amenable to meeting. He wouldn't like a large group, but perhaps say like me, the town clerk, and if a councillor friend was available.
Can I suggest myself, because I've been through this
on both sides. I'd have to find out, because he doesn't like,
yeah, so
he wouldn't like if a mobilist.
See, I
might be on his side.
Sorry to disagree with Councillor Miller, but I would suggest the mayor, the chair of the planning committee, and also the DDC representative, DDC chair, Councillor Frank, because he's been from the onset, possibly. Just the 3 of you, that would make it easier. And bring it back to full council.
Sorry, I do underline. I think it's important that we have something to say, rather than just saying we're going to talk to him. Is to bring some ideas, some concrete ideas, on which we might find some common ground, because they could speak to somebody who's sitting on a valuable asset and is earning absolutely nothing from it. I mean, I think it's important that we do have our own views.
I think once that land's purchased, it would just like into recreation area. I don't think there'd be any profit in it, just be straight down and do it.
So that's just to reply to Councillor Pennington. When I last spoke to him, he was of the opinion that the the land was worth a lot of money because he was going to get planning permission. So this was pre the last application, but as Councillor Marie had said, that was the fourth application he's put in on that side. What I'm saying is, I think he could be more amenable to saying that, you know, we could come to some negotiations on that side. If we go down, with all due respect to Councillor Marie, if we go down CPO, that's forcing him to hand the site over. If we meet with him first and explain our situation and he explains his situation, I think we could come to a compromise. And with all of these battles, I think if we have an initial meeting, just to actually break down any concerns or issues, and then we can always have a secondary meeting to come back with actual concrete ideas. But the first thing we need to do before we start drawing up any plans is we need to know whether he would be acceptable for self-management. So that's what I'm proposing. Yeah, and with the Councillor Marie proposed that three of us. I think in the first one is if only a small number could attend, so we don't look like we're like.
It's very intimidating if you send 16 councillors.
Say 5 or 6 of us. If the town clerks are getting.
Can I just make a request? Is there any chance Sandwich Council can send a letter to planning, DDC Planning, to object? I know it's to object to the Harris fence and saying we're against it. It's not in keeping with a rural town with a conservation area. Because I seriously disagree with that decision for them to allow that Harris fence. It's horrendous.
I had a visitor and we walked around there and frankly I was embarrassed. I mean, it looks dreadful. And it's at a prime site where people walk when they come to Sandwich.
If the town clerk
I think that's what Councillor Morehouse was on about, though, isn't it? That's what
Exactly, yeah, we can put that forward. That's okay.
That's fine.
Oh, sorry, do you need to vote on this first?
Yeah, that's right, we would have to vote on this one from council.
in favour of that.
Yeah, I'll second that. I'll second that.
Sorry, Councillor Lee, second that. Yeah. Thank you.
There isn't any other business on here, obviously, so I'm just going to say what I have to say. Not just in this meeting, but in lots, councillors' phones are constantly going off, and some councillors I've personally been aware of a councillor receiving text from a member of the public during the meeting because it was commented on afterwards by said councillor. Do councillors really need to have their phones on in meetings? Do they need to use them? Not just this meeting. I think STC should really look at this.
I think we had this before, and I think
But nothing happens.
but sometimes councillors want to research something. If we've got an agenda item they're not quite sure about, they go and look at it and research
And there's
it.
nothing wrong with that.
So I don't think
But
it's,
they could have their phones on silent,
well, that's up to the,
and they shouldn't be receiving texts about what's going on in the meeting from members of the public, because it can influence the meeting.
Can I just suggest something as well, if that's the case? I agree with what Mr. Hayes says, because I was using my phone last time. However, there's two things. One, currently the iPads are currently not working, so we're relying on our phones and our personal devices to get the agendas. This is my daughter's laptop, it's purple, you can see. The other thing is the fact that when Mrs. Glynn runs the video conference for us at all the meetings, she does it live, and they get comments sent through all the time, and she reads them and she responds to them as the comments are coming through. So if it can't be just down to councillors and what, it's got to be for everybody in this room if they're in this room. So that's my opinion, and I appreciate what Mr. Summerhays is saying, that it should be for everybody, including the person that's running the field.
I think it's up to the councillors to use their discretion. It should be off. Well, the vibration off, but I think there should be it might be an emergency, mightn't it? Particularly when you've got children. So I don't think there's anything harm with it vibrating in your pocket and you can read your text, but there's anything harm in that at all.
No.
There is a problem with councillors reading text, and people are texting them about what's going on in the meeting, and it has happened.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's that much of it. I don't think so. We could
Ask the
it's
town clerk,
experience.
possibly if there's some policy now called out, may be able to assist us with this.
So So, I mean, we could draw up a policy, like a protocol, that's
Would that be possible?
yeah, that's fine, yeah, I can bring that to council.
Because
That would need everybody to,
I would like to propose that we do have a policy on mobile phones and, you know, so that at least everybody knows where they are. So, as Councillor Franklin said, oh, it's down to the chair, but you could have like quite a soft chair or a hard chair. Unfortunately, I'm a bit of a hard chair, so.
Can I just one more thing, just to say, point out, when I do watch BBC Parliament quite a lot, I do follow the select committees and stuff, and they're sitting there, and you see the leader of the Commons sitting there making her speech, and you see that 4 or 5 of them on their phones. I will, they're sending emails, text messages, they're on dating websites, I don't know, but it's the same goes for them as well.
No, it's just a case of the instructions on using the iPad, so you can turn the volume down.
Yes.
Because, I mean, for example, I'm just checking to make sure we're actually recording, which we are.
Yeah.
We are not.
I know you do, but I've seen you do it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where the volume control is, I think it's these two. So it doesn't drop in next one.
We'll let you off.
yes, no, I don't understand that.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, there's a question from Councillor.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if everybody here is aware, but the ridge beam on the lines on the roof has now completely collapsed and the whole roof is caving in. I know the floors inside have all gone, but I'm sure it's now in a much more dangerous situation than it was, because it was the bit over the blockwork extension that was put up years ago, and as somebody else said, it's been going on certainly since before iPad. One of the first things that was ever brought to my attention was the state of that place, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
Can an email be sent to?
Yeah, could this information be forwarded to?
Yes.
If you go for a walk along the ramparts, you can see the whole thing is caved in.
That should be a matter of urgency, because if that front of that house goes through, it's going to cover the whole of New Street.
I think it's reached the stage where that property cannot be saved.
Just to talk on my own experience in a very, very similar situation. I have a barn which is collapsing. I proposed to Heritage in DVC that it was dismantled and rebuilt exactly the same, but in a condition that it wasn't collapsing. And they refused. They absolutely said, no, you cannot touch it. It's going to collapse. And they said it is of historical importance, and because it's of historical importance, I can't touch it. It is.
It's
So,
quite relevant.
and it will be, yes. And I've got literally old bedsteads holding it up because the walls are just collapsing outwards. If the gentleman who is working on the lines is going through a similar situation, well, maybe we should have a different approach to this and actually understand what the heritage implications are, both in terms of the whole thing collapsing. Does he have to rebuild the same? Is it then going to sit as a kind of rubble for the next 100 years because he'll pass it on to his, descendants? Is it that he can't build it because going through heritage is going to cost a small fortune? I don't know, but my experience is heritage is part of the problem.
I think my personal experiences would be that the gentleman in question who owns the lines would let it fall down to its rubble and then leave it there for another 10, 20 years, and Sandwich Town Council fighting for it to get it removed. I think that's the case. I don't think there's any heritage in it. I would like it to stand up to be sorted out or knocked down, completely removed, but that's up to BBC to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, so from what you're saying, maybe I need to report this to the heritage officer and building control.
Yes.
Because if we're saying it's a dangerous structure, they will come out and inspect it. And okay, I'll take that action away. Yeah, the next meeting to be confirmed after the 9th of May. Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Meeting closed.
Jess, very quick on this one. This one.
Sorry.